Hi, I'm Amanda. At 62, I've built a comfortable life for myself after decades of hard work in real estate development. My waterfront condo and investment portfolio didn't materialize from thin air. They came from countless late nights and sacrifices my son Derek never witnessed. Mom, you look great. The Florida sun agrees with you, Derek said, visiting for what I thought was our monthly lunch. His wife Vanessa trailed behind him, her designer purse clashing with her usual complaints about being broke. Thanks, honey. I try to swim every morning. Keeps the arthritis at bay. I hugged them both, noting how Vanessa barely returned the gesture. Your new place is impressive, Vanessa said, eyeing my living room. Must have cost a fortune. Derek cleared his throat. We saw Uncle Mike last weekend. I tensed. My brother had a habit of discussing things that weren't his business. Oh? How is he? Good. Mentioned you sold that office complex in Tampa. Derek's voice shifted to something unfamiliar. Said you cleared 7 figures after taxes. Mike always did love discussing other people's business, I said, keeping my tone light. Coffee? Mom, why didn't you tell us? Derek followed me to the kitchen. We've been struggling for years and you're sitting on millions? I set down the coffee pot. My finances aren't family newsletter material, Derek. We're family! Your only family! His voice rose sharply. Vanessa joined us, arms crossed. Derek lost his job 3 months ago. What? You told me everything was fine at the firm. I turned to my son. Because I didn't want to worry you, Derek said, not meeting my eyes. But now I know you could have helped without blinking. You're adults, Derek. 40 and 38 aren't ages where parents should be supporting their children. That's cold, Amanda, Vanessa said, using my first name like she always did when being confrontational. We have bills. We might lose our house. Derek leaned forward. Mom, I need $200,000 to get back on our feet. I nearly dropped my mug. $200,000? Have you lost your mind? You have millions. What's a couple $100,000 to you? His voice turned sharp, unfamiliar. It's my retirement, Derek. My security. Vanessa laughed bitterly. Security? You could buy 10 houses with what you have. How would you know what I have? I asked, suddenly suspicious. My phone rang. Elena, my best friend, saved me from answering my own question. Amanda, you won't believe what I just heard, Elena said when I answered. Margaret called me asking if it's true you're worth over $5 million now, said Derek told her. My blood ran cold. Elena, I'll call you back. I turned to face my son, this stranger demanding my money. You've been investigating my finances? Telling the entire family about my worth? Everyone should know you're hoarding money while your son struggles, Vanessa snapped. Get out, I whispered. Mom, get out. I rarely raised my voice, but the betrayal cut deep. How dare you treat me like a bank account? You'll regret this, Derek said, grabbing his jacket. Family helps family. As their car screeched away, I called Elena back with shaking hands. Elena, I need your help. And Richard's number, my financial advisor. Derek just showed up demanding $200,000. Oh my God, Amanda. What are you going to do? I don't know yet, I said, watching Derek's car disappear down the street. But I'm not giving him a dime. He's been calling everyone in the family, my sister Margaret said the next day over lunch. Told me you're living like royalty while he's about to be homeless. I stirred my iced tea. And you believed him? I didn't know what to believe, Mandy. You've always been private about money. Margaret fiddled with her napkin. But the way he described it, he said you laughed at him. I didn't laugh, I said, my voice tight. I was shocked. They ambushed me after investigating my finances behind my back. He's your son. Margaret's tone carried that familiar judgment. What mother wouldn't help her child? The kind whose child is 40 years old and hasn't held a job for more than 18 months at a time. I leaned forward. Did you know Vanessa hasn't worked in 3 years? Did Derek mention that part? Margaret shifted uncomfortably. People go through hard times. Their hard times are self-inflicted. They took 4 vacations last year, Maggie. I saw the photos on Facebook. Still, Margaret sighed. Family is family. Which is why this hurts so much, I replied, gathering my purse. Thanks for lunch, and for telling me what he's saying. I met Richard, my financial advisor, at his office that afternoon. Amanda, I was surprised by your call, he said, gesturing to a chair. Is everything all right? No, I admitted, explaining the situation. Richard's expression darkened. Unfortunately, I've seen this before. Successful parents, entitled children. He knows about the Tampa property. Could he have accessed my account somehow? Possibly if he had your personal information. Richard typed something on his computer. When was your last password change? Months ago. Derek helped set up my new laptop at Christmas. Richard nodded. Let's change everything immediately, and I suggest we move your assets into a revocable trust. What would that do? Protect you from exactly this situation. If Derek escalates, it creates a legal barrier. I sank into the chair. I never thought I'd need protection from my own son. Amanda, Richard said gently. I've known you for 15 years. You're not just wealthy, you're generous. How much have you already given Derek over the years? I calculated mentally. The down payment on their house, his MBA, 3 cars. Probably $500,000 all told. Which he conveniently forgets. Richard slid a document across the desk. Call Elena. She's an attorney. Get her opinion on this. Already scheduled for dinner tonight, I said, taking the papers. Later, at Elena's home, I found not just legal advice, but necessary support. He's telling everyone you're heartless, Elena said, pouring wine. Called me yesterday thinking I'd take his side. What did he say? That you're mentally declining and making irrational financial decisions. Elena's eyes flashed. I shut that down immediately. He's building a case, I realized. For what? Elder abuse claims? Possibly, Elena nodded. But we're not letting that happen. Richard's trust idea is smart. I can file restraining orders if the harassment continues. Restraining orders against my own son, I whispered. How did we get here? By raising an entitled brat, Elena said bluntly. Sorry, but it's true. Remember when he forged your signature for that car loan? He was 22 then. I thought he'd grow out of it. Instead, he married his clone, Elena sighed. Amanda, you have to protect yourself. Tomorrow, we're changing your locks, security codes, and setting up cameras. My phone buzzed with a text from Derek. We're coming over tomorrow to discuss this rationally. You owe us that much. I showed Elena, who immediately took my phone and replied, Do not come to my home uninvited again. Any further communication must go through my attorney. There, she said, handing back the phone. Phase 1 of Operation Don't Get Bullied by Your Awful Son. Is Phase 2 the part where I stop feeling guilty? I asked. No, Elena smiled sadly. That's Phase 10, but we'll get there. Despite Elena's warning, Derek and Vanessa appeared at my door 3 days later. Security cameras captured their arrival. Mom, open up, Derek called, pounding on the door. We know you're home. I opened the door but blocked the entrance. I told you not to come. This is ridiculous, Vanessa pushed forward. We're family, not criminals. You're trespassing, I said firmly. But we can talk here on the porch. In front of the neighbors? Classy, Mom. Derek scowled but stayed put. What do you want? Besides my money? We want what's fair, Derek said, his tone rehearsed. Dad would have wanted. Don't you dare bring your father into this, I snapped. He worked himself to death providing for you. And now you're living off his legacy while we struggle, Vanessa interjected. His legacy? I built this life after he died. 20 years of work while raising Derek alone. Derek stepped closer. Mom, I'm sorry we surprised you the other day. That was wrong. And telling the entire family I'm hoarding wealth? Investigating my private finances? Was that wrong too? I was upset, he mumbled, attempting a softer approach. But we really do need help. Just a loan. Which you'd never repay, like the last 3 loans, I countered. Vanessa's facade cracked. You selfish old... Careful, I interrupted. Security cameras are recording everything. Cameras? Derek looked up. You're recording us? Your own family? Protection, I stated. After you spread rumors, I'm mentally declining. Derek's face fell. Elena told you. Everyone told me, Derek. That's how family gossip works. Mom, I didn't mean... Yes, you did. I stepped back. You meant to manipulate, coerce, or shame me into giving you money. It won't work. Please. Derek's voice turned desperate. The bank is foreclosing next month. Because you haven't paid your mortgage in how long? While taking vacations? Vanessa jabbed a finger at me. You have no idea what we're going through? Actually, I do. Your credit card statements came to my email somehow. Another account you helped me set up, Derek? Derek's face reddened. That was an accident. Like accessing my investment accounts was an accident? I asked coldly. You ungrateful witch, Vanessa hissed. After all Derek's done for you? What exactly has Derek done for me, Vanessa? Please elaborate. He visits, he calls, he's your son. The bare minimum isn't a gift, I said. Now leave before I call the police. You'd call the cops on your own son? Derek's voice rose. Try me. Derek stepped forward, grabbing my arm. This isn't over. Let go of me. My voice was deadly calm. Derek, Vanessa warned, eyeing the cameras. He released me, face twisted with rage. You'll regret this. I promise you'll regret choosing money over your own son. I'm not choosing money over you, Derek. I'm choosing self-respect over extortion. We'll tell everyone what you're really like, Vanessa threatened. Go ahead. The family already knows the truth. I started closing the door. I'll contest your will, Derek shouted. I'll claim you're incompetent. Good luck, I replied, especially after assaulting me on camera. As I closed the door, Derek kicked it hard enough to crack the frame. This isn't over. You hear me? This isn't over. I leaned against the wall, heart pounding, and called Elena. He was here. It got ugly. He grabbed me and kicked my door. I'm calling the police, Elena said immediately. Don't delete that footage. The restraining order has been granted, Judge Michaels announced 2 weeks later. Mr. Powers must remain at least 500 feet from Amanda Powers and her residence. Derek glared at me from across the courtroom while his hastily hired attorney whispered in his ear. Outside, Elena squeezed my hand. You did the right thing, Amanda. Then why does it feel so terrible? I asked as we walked to her car. Because he's your son and you love him. That's what makes his betrayal so painful. Richard met us at the bank that afternoon, where we finalized the revocable trust protecting my assets. Your estate plan is updated, he confirmed. The provisions we discussed are in place. Including the education fund for my grandchildren? I asked. Yes, accessible when they're 18, regardless of their parents' situation. Good, I nodded. Derek can't touch that. 3 days later, Margaret called, sounding subdued. Amanda, I owe you an apology. What happened? Derek called asking for money. When I said I couldn't, he said awful things. Called me terrible names. Her voice trembled. Then he threatened to tell my boss about my DUI from 15 years ago. I'm so sorry, Maggie. No, I'm sorry I didn't believe you. Margaret paused. Is it true he grabbed you? Yes. The security footage was clear enough for the restraining order. Mom would be heartbroken, Margaret whispered. I know, I agreed. But she'd also tell us to stand our ground. A month later, I received a call from a number I didn't recognize. Mrs. Powers? This is Jenna Whitfield, Derek's neighbor. We met at his Christmas party last year? Yes, of course, I said, surprised. How are you, Jenna? Fine, but I thought you should know they're moving out, middle of the night. The rental truck came at 2 a.m. I see. I wasn't surprised. Thank you for letting me know. The next day, Derek called from a new number, bypassing my blocks. Mom, please, one more chance. We've lost everything. Derek, you have a restraining order. You shouldn't be calling me. I know, but listen. We've changed. Vanessa is looking for work. I've got interviews lined up. I'm glad to hear that, I said honestly. I wish you both well. So you'll help? Just enough to get a small apartment. We can start over. I sighed. No, Derek, I won't. After everything I've done for you? His voice shifted back to familiar anger. This conversation is over. Please respect the court order. You'll die alone, he spat. And I won't shed a single tear. I hung up, hands shaking but resolve intact. 6 months later, Elena and I sat on my balcony watching the sunset. Heard from Margaret that Derek and Vanessa are in Arizona now, Elena mentioned. Both working retail jobs? Good, I nodded. They needed to stand on their own feet. Do you think they've learned anything? Probably not, I admitted. But I have. What's that? That love doesn't mean being an ATM, that boundaries are necessary, even especially with family. And that you're stronger than you thought, Elena added. Yes, I smiled, watching dolphins play in the distance. Much stronger. Will you ever speak to him again? Elena asked gently. If he genuinely changes, maybe. But I won't hold my breath. I turned to my friend. The trust is set up. My grandchildren will have education funds. Derek and Vanessa will receive exactly $5,000, the amount they borrowed and never repaid from their wedding. Perfect poetic justice, Elena laughed. What about you? I asked the gentle waves below. Would you forgive your child for treating you like a bank account? For spreading lies and making threats? The ocean provided no answers, but I found peace in its silence nonetheless.